Hello and welcome to my channel. Today what I want to talk about is the law of creation of energy and when the law of creation of energy was first discovered and who discovered it, and the history of the law of creation of energy. So many people have heard about the law of conservation of energy, which states that energy can neither be created nor destroyed and can only be converted to from one form to another. And the law of conservation of energy works perfectly well in purely mechanical systems, but it does not adequately describe what's going on in an electromechanical system where electromagnetic fields are present. So the law of creation of energy, electromagnetic field energy. In 1822, a physicist named Hans Christian Oersted performed an experiment where he used a compass needle and a wire where he allowed current to flow through the wire, and he was outlining the relationship between current and magnetic field energy that is created around the current bearing wire. And I'm using the term energy, created energy specifically, because what Oersted may or may not have known at the time was that the kinetic energy of the compass needle was changing when current was flowing in the wire that was close to the compass needle, because the compass needle was being influenced by the magnetic field that was being created around the wire. Now, the change in kinetic energy of the compass needle is work. And work is being performed on the compass needle. The total work performed on the compass needle is the final amount of work minus the initial amount of work. This is derived from the work energy principle. And the work energy principle is important because it says that energy is the currency that's required to perform work in any direction. If the work increases the kinetic energy of a system, that work is positive work. If the kinetic energy of the system is decreased, the work performed is negative work. So the question is, with Oersted's experiment, was what is the energy source that's required to perform the work on the compass needle? And the obvious answer is that it's the magnetic field energy that is being produced around the wire. Now, the other question that would be interesting to know is how much energy is required to produce that magnetic field? Well, if we look at the wire as if it was a component in an electric circuit, we know that the wire has a certain amount of resistance, and we know that some of the power that's being converted, I almost said lost, there are no losses in any system. According to the law of conservation of energy, energy can only be converted to one form to another. So due to the resistance of the wire, there is some energy conversion. And we can use the formula, the power rule, P equals I squared R, the magnitude of the current flowing in the wire, squared times the resistance, to determine how much work is being performed in heating the wire. That's the only conversion, that's the only energy conversion that's happening in the wire. The magnetic field that's created around the wire is not, there's no energy conversion in producing that magnetic field. This magnetic field energy is the essence of the law of creation of energy that was discovered in 1820 by Hans Christian Ørsted. In 1822, Michael Faraday would advance on Ørsted's discovery, and he would build the world's first electric motor, which created electromagnetic field energy in order to perform positive work. Now, in the description box below, you'll find an article that is the history of the law of creation of energy. It goes into more detail about Faraday's motor and Ohm's law and so on. In 1827, George Ohm formulated Ohm's law, which is the relationship between the voltage and the resistance and the current in a wire. And from Ohm's law, we can determine how much energy is being converted to heat using the power rule. Now, if you look in 1820, Ohm's law didn't exist, and it would have been difficult for Hans Christian Ørsted to realize that the work being performed on his compass needle was being performed with energy that's being created. Similarly, in 1822, when Faraday made his first electric motor, he also would not have been aware that the work being performed by his electric motor was being performed by electromagnetic field energy that was being created. So Ørsted discovered the law of creation of energy in 1820. Faraday used the law of creation of energy in 1822 to create the world's first electric motor. In 1827, Ohm formulated Ohm's law, which confirmed the law of creation of energy because it showed where energy is being converted in a current-bearing wire, and also establishing that no energy is being converted in the production of the magnetic field energy, in the creation of the magnetic field energy. In 1834, LENZ'S law of induction was established by Emil Lenz, and it established the direction of the negative work performed by created electromagnetic field energy in electric generators. So electric generators that perform negative work, LENZ'S law establishes the direction of the negative work that's performed in an electric generator. The minus sign in front of Faraday's law of induction, this is Faraday's law of induction, the direction of the negative work performed by the created electromagnetic field energy around a current-bearing wire, otherwise known as generator armature reaction, motor action in a generator, and EV regenerative braking. And in a previous video I explained that regenerative braking is not actually braking. Braking is the incorrect term. Regenerative braking should actually be called EV regenerative negative motoring, because the generator is producing a counter electromagnetic torque, and it's performing negative work with created electromagnetic field energy. In 2007, Heinz's law of induction was discovered, and it establishes the direction of positive work performed by created electromagnetic field energy when delayed sufficiently in the time domain. So in the description box I will put videos that explain how electric vehicle regenerative acceleration is produced, and how LENZ'S law of induction, how the minus sign in front of LENZ'S law can be turned into a positive sign. And the negative work can be turned into positive work in an electric generator when the electromagnetic field energy is delayed in the time domain. So the plus sign denotes the direction of positive work performed by created electromagnetic field energy, otherwise known as EV regenerative acceleration, complementary electromagnetic torque, and positive work. So the law of creation of energy is the new law of physics that we will be introducing to the IEEE in 2021. It establishes where the energy comes from in order to create electric vehicle regenerative braking, generator armature reaction, counter electromagnetic torque, and also how LENZ'S law can be reversed, and how Heinz's law can be established, and where the electromagnetic field energy that performs negative work in conventional generators can now, that same created electromagnetic field energy can now be used to perform positive work in electric generators, which also allows those generators to operate at infinite efficiency. So that's it. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and cheers.